Today we are doing an updated version of the 5-star legendary gems tier list for the season 16. Since the last one we have gotten a new 5-star gem, Spiteful Blood, and few things has changed in my opinion. And so let's dive into this right away. Starting with the Hellfire Fragment. Hellfire Fragment for me is going to be a B tier. It does do some nice damage, can trigger every 20 seconds, but the downside for this gem in my opinion is the range. You have to be very close to the enemy for it to attack, and it also doesn't do all that much of AoE attack, and it can activate every 20 seconds. Does not matter if the enemy is close to you or not, it will trigger, and if there is nothing close to you, you will end up doing no damage. So the Hellfire Fragment for me is going to be B tier. Starfire Shard is going to be S tier gem. Now it is currently the meta out there for everyone who is doing the PvP. It is extremely strong gem in PvP. It can burn the enemy. It can hit them really quick when it triggers, and it can also do the knockback. And so the gem itself is going to be S tier. And next gem is going to be Spiteful Blood. Spiteful Blood for me is going to be A tier. It can block the primary attack from the enemy in PvP. On the top of that, it will also increase your damage and give you some shield. And overall, if you can upgrade this gem, it will be a really good gem that will protect you in PvP and make a difference. Next gem is going to be Swenson Haunting, going in D tier. Right now inside of PvE, you don't need gems that helps you kill these trash mobs faster. You need gems that can help you in harder content like the raid bosses, gauntlet bosses, and this gem in those is really bad, and you are better off going with some other gems that helps you do some hard content in PvE and PvP. And so Swanson is going straight out in D tier, and the next gem is going to be Frozen Heart. Frozen Heart for me is going to be C tier gem here. Why? Because it only gives you some shield, and that's it. You are better off going with the Spiteful Blood instead of Frozen Heart. Not only Spiteful Blood will give you the shield, but it will also increase your damage and will also block the primary attack from the enemy. Frozen Heart only gives you the shield and shield enemy. That is not all that great anymore now. And the next gem is going to be the Bottle Hope. Bottle Hope is going in A tier for me. You can increase the duration of Bottle Hop, having more beneficial duration. The gem itself gives you the movement speed and the damage, which is really good and working with most classes and most builds now inside of Diablo Immortal. Next gem is going to be the Echoing Shade, again going in B tier. For some classes, it works much better, like the Demon Hunter. For some classes, it does not do all that great. And in PvP, it is not all that great of a gem now anymore. And so I will put that in B tier. Next gem is going to be Bloodsoaked Jade. Again, going in S tier, gives you the movement speed, gives you the damage, and so really easy to put the Bloodsoaked Jade in S tier. And so let's move on to the next gem. That is going to be the Blessing of the Body. Blessing of the Body for me is going to be C tier gem now. You have to heavily rely on your HP. Need to keep the HP at max if you want to unleash that blast that does a lot of damage, and you are better off going with a gem that will give you flat damage, and you don't have to rely on certain condition for the gem to do the best. And so for me, Blessing of the Body is going to be C tier, even in PvE and PvP. That left us with few more gems here, 6 more gems, and so we are going with the Seeping Ball. Again, really good gem. It will poison the enemy dies, spread to other enemies, and it will also slow down their movement speed. We all know this gem can do some insane damage over time in PvP and even in PvE. And let's move on to the next gem. That is going to be the Phoenix Ashes. For me, Phoenix Ashes is going to be C tier. The cooldown on this gem is 3 minutes. That is just too long for a gem now, and you are better off going with other gems on the list here. Alright, let's move on to the next gem. That is going to be Concentrated Will. Concentrated Will for me now is going to be a B tier gem. The gem is actually doing much better now with more builds out there. You can go with the dash builds. It will give you the damage after each dash, and there is the injure that is going to hit everything in between as well. And so the gem itself is pretty decent now, and maybe in future it will get even better as we will get more essence that is going to utilize the mobility skills like the dash, and so concentrated will can get much better in future. All right, let's move on to the next gem that is going to be the Gloomcast. Gloomcast now you can modify in so many ways, and so I will put it in the S tier. You can increase your attack speed, and so it will unleash more blaze on your enemy. And when the enemy is under the effect of the blade, they will also take more damage from your primary. On the top of that, you can also increase the duration of your Gloom Cask, having more beneficial duration. And so the Gloom Cask can be modified in so many ways, and it always feels good. Your primary attack having an additional effect that does more damage, and so I will put the gem in S tier. Now we are left with two gems. I will be putting the Chip of Storm Flash in A tier. Why we are doing that? Because the gem itself is extremely powerful if you can use it. If you can apply and stun or any sort of total loss of control, that can be a freeze, fear, stun, it will deal extremely high damage to your enemy, and the gem is working really good in PvP if you can utilize it. So Chip of Stormflash is by no means a bad gem. It is actually a really good gem even in PvE and PvP. Now we are left with the Howler Core. The gem for me is an A tier. The reason is very simple. It does very high damage when it gets triggered. If you can hit the enemy with the Howler Core, it will do some big damage. But sometimes it can miss the enemy, especially in PvP. But still is a really good gem to have, can do some big damage, and on the top of that, sometimes it can even stun your enemy. And this is how the updated 5-star legendary tier list looks for me for the season 16. I will keep this updated as we will get more builds, new essences in the upcoming seasons. I'm signing off. You guys have a great day, and I'll see you in the next one later.